My name is Mark, and yes, cancer sucks. Life doesn't have to. This is my story. So my dad gets a phone call while we're playing golf, right? And my brother and I are just hitting around whatever, playing on this one part of the hole. And he tells us, he says, okay guys, we're going to go to the stadium because we wanted to get autographs, of course. We're going to get there really early. He said, just leave your golf stuff on for the moment. Like, don't put your Yankee stuff on. I'm thinking, what the heck is about to happen? So we get there, and I kid you not, if you're a baseball fan, you know the perfect place for autographs is, I don't know, next to the dugout. We could literally see inside the Yankees dugout from where we were. Perfect spot for autographs. And my dad, again, to my brother and I said, if I give y'all the signal, y'all come back out into the concourse area and just trust me on it. And sure enough, the Braves were still on the field because they took batting practice first. And he says, okay, y'all come with me. I said, okay. So we go back to a picnic table, and I remember telling my brother, I said, this better be worth it. So again, this was a couple years back, 2009 to be specific. And sure enough, a representative from the Braves comes and gets us. Says, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm going to take you down to the field. So sure enough, just act like you're supposed to be there. This representative takes us down to the Braves side of the field. Now given, I'm still in my mind thinking, okay, this is unreal, but this is the wrong side of the field. But anyways, we're introduced to the general manager of the Braves at the time, who, friend of a friend, heard of my story while I was going through cancer and everything, heard that we were in town and wanted to have us down on the field and come meet him. Incredible. Can't thank him enough for what he did for me. And here's the really cool part. 3 Braves, just 3, in that time that we were on the field and they were warming up, came by and signed autographs. And that's Brian McCann, their starting catcher, Jeff Rancour, a starting outfielder for him at the time, and David Ross, backup catcher at the time for him. So they came by, signed autographs. I put my Yankees hat on backwards, just out of respect, because it's like, this is really cool. They're walking right up to you and talking to you and everything. So we're back talking with the general manager of the Braves, and then the Yankees take the field. And I don't know what the general manager of the Braves said from then on, because immediately my brother and I were just focused on the Yankees. So he sees that, and it just so happened that the Yankees weren't off to a good start that year. And so their general manager was down there too. And so he said, well, hang on just a second. He walks over, talks to him, says, okay, guys, act like you're supposed to be here. So we walk directly behind the batting cages, behind home plate, and Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees, comes up and introduces himself to me. He says, hey Mark, I'm Joe. I said, I know. I grew up playing youth baseball, and it wasn't until like my 4th year of playing that I was on a team not called the Yankees. I grew up in an era where the Yankees won 4 out of 5 championships, went to 5 out of 6 World Series in a row. They were all I knew, and so my role models were those players, the people I looked up to most, the people I imitated swings or pitching styles by were these guys. And on that day, in trots Derek Jeter, a person who I'd watched on TV for, like 13 years, the first 13 years of his career, And he's talking to me and asking how I'm doing, when I feel like I'm the one who should be asking him, like, oh my, I have so many things to ask you and everything. The most surreal moment was when he trots in from the outfield, says, hey, I'm Derek Jeter. I'm shortstop for the Yankees, and my brother and my dad just lost it. It was incredible. We had an awesome 30 minutes on that field, talking to Derek, talking to a few of the other Yankees that were on the team at the time. Of course, getting a few baseball signed and whatnot. But here's the story part of it. Here's the coincidence part of it. One thing that's not really publicized but is known, has been reported about. And as cool as this moment was for me to meet this idol of mine, right, growing up, was Derek Jeter's sister actually had the same type of cancer I had. So imagine, as big of a moment as that is for me, how big of a moment it is for my brother. The Yankees went on to be the hottest team in baseball. Jeter goes on to be the hottest hitter in the American leagues, and the Yankees win the World Series that year. In the 3 games that we were there for, 3 Braves hit home runs. You can look it up. The first night, it was Jeff Rancourt. The second night is Brian McCann. The third night, when they played the Red Sox, in the bottom of the 9th, off of closer Jonathan Papelbon, backup catcher David Ross, it's a home run. The reason I'm telling you these stories is you never, in your wildest dreams, can imagine who or what you will be able to connect to and have an impact on. Whether that's a similarity in stories or just any specific detail in general. As far as being a Christian, you never really will ever know just the amount of impact that you can have and the amount of people you can reach with a simple story. So back to the Chinese roommate of mine. This is the story no one knows. My sophomore year, after we'd already lived together, I get a text from him. And it says, "Hey, can you meet me in our student union center?" I was like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Turns out he had just been diagnosed with the same cancer I had. And he was asking me to, answer all these questions he had and to ease his pain when it came to a lot of the doubts he had. You just can't script this. That was the last time we spoke. I assume he's back in Shanghai and he's doing great, but you never really take notice of who you can impact with the gospel until it's right in front of you. And that's the coolest part about God's sovereignty, is that there's all these paths that people take to lead them to where they are. And when God intertwines one with yours to help you or them see the gospel better, how can you doubt that any of it is not for His glory? It's incredible. So I just thought the last I would ever see of this guy was shortly after he throws a Chinese New Year party in my dorm freshman year. Turns out the last thing I did was pray over him. Cancer has been a blessing. I've said it before, but it's been a dangerous blessing. It's not something I take lightly. But man, does it lead you to a lot of cool places you thought you would never see in your life. I just realized something. I haven't even mentioned this entire time that I still have cancer, by the way.